is episode 333 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will, going as Dion for Halloween Hegwood. And today I'm joined by Ryan. I am the Resistance, Stan Azuski.
I may or may not have come to the conclusion that Resistance might be my faction all the way up to Worlds if nothing else changes in this meta.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Resistance has the beef.
The beef.
Beef and really good success numbers right now. And I do well with them, so sure.
We should talk more about the Resistance later on. But we also have James return to the mines. Ritter.
Yeah, this week, Return to Moria video game is coming out. Pretty excited. It looks okay. Definitely gonna check it out.
And not Marcel, we have Cam. The death of Han has been greatly exaggerated. Murray.
Han isn't dead. People are just bored. It's true. They should probably do something about Bistan sooner rather than later.
Well, probably on the later. But
You're talking about you're saying it's a bus stand?
Oh,
It's a bust stand. I mean, it's pretty busted, yeah.
Well, we have Cam on to talk about the St. Lawrence Open. But before we get to our main topic, I had to let you know that our podcasts are brought to you by our GSP-owned patrons. Coming to Patreon makes you part of the largest group of supporters of what GSP does. Patrons help us get to these live events like the St. Lawrence Open. So if you want to check out patreon.com/Gold Squadron, you can become a Patreon today. Also, in our headlines, there is what version of the Xwing survey do we have for people today?
It
looks
like
like
the seventh.
The community awakens. I love it. There is another one of the great community surveys coming out. We're going to post the link in the description of at least the YouTube video, hopefully the podcast description as well. But a great tool to collect this information about the Xwing community so that we can always be improving. Just some simple questions. Looks like it's what do you fly? Where do you hang out? Things like that. So definitely check that out. James has got it in our Twitch chat as well. Always awesome to see that kind of community feedback. But we gotta do it big here because let me pull out the St. Lawrence roll better because I got to spoil the winner. That's right. Cam, you did it. Got yourself all the way to the final table, beating a good friend of yours. I assume you're friends. Maybe you're rivals. We'll have to find out in this interview. So, Cam, tell us about the event. Tell us what you flew.
So coming into this, I've been flying Han. I've been playing Han in the XDC. I'm also the captain of Team Canada in the XDC. And so I'm playing Han for that event, and I've been playing a bunch of Han to prep myself for that. And I've been playing a bunch of Han in my local league as well, also to prep myself for that. So when I was going to go to this tournament, I decided to bring Han. He's doing really well right now. Kind of obnoxiously well right now, statistically. Outside of Resistance, he's one of the highest winning pieces in the entire game. Anyway, huge shout out to the people who ran this event. Jean-Marc Cousineau. He was our head judge, and he did a great job running this event. It was very fun. Abyss is an awesome store. If you're ever in Montreal, definitely check it out. It is one of the coolest gaming stores I've ever been to. It is basically a gaming cafe with an upstairs and downstairs. The tournament was held just in the downstairs, along with Legion. They had two full-on Worlds Qualifier events going at the same time in just the downstairs. That gives you an idea of how much space they have at this place. Also, a huge shout out to Tim Ralphs and Olivier, who are our judges, and Maxime, who's our event organizer. They were all awesome people to meet and hang out with, and they ran a great event. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Dion said he had a great time streaming this weekend as well.
Yeah, I got to see Dion. That's always a good time. I got to hang out, have dinner with Dion too. Also very fun. But yeah, we can get into my games if you guys want, or we can talk about the finals.
I want to talk about your list right now. I got it up on the screen. You didn't even take the title on Han. That's how much you think you care about taking an evade action.
I'm never gonna have one. Was
that just board space?
Yeah. So I'm never gonna take the evade with Han. So if I'm never gonna take it anyway, if I'm never gonna take the evade anyway, then I'm gonna save myself packing a card.
I will say, I feel it's more useful to put the Falcon title on Han than it is to put Jamming Beam on literally anything.
I would agree with that, because in theory there is an edge case where you may use it, and I think that edge case might come up more than the Jamming Beam edge case. But yeah, I also agree that Jamming Beam is mostly useless on almost everything.
If Han can't initiative or kill something in like a final round of a situation, and he's at range 3 of what's incoming fire, and he has to live for you to win, that's when you take the evade. When you're range 2-1, when you're only rolling 1 dice, that's literally like you're over rolling a single die. But when you have the 2 dice available at range 3, I think mathematically that evade can help a whole lot more with the Falcon title and Han's ability. If he like best odds for you to live type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, well, it's also just like I cannot take 2 damage, and he is throwing 2 attack dice. I will take the evade to ensure, even with the reroll, that I get the evade.
Well, that's all a mute point if you just win your games with Han.
Oh yeah. If you just just knock it out of the park, yeah.
Or you can just kill him first.
That's true. Can't help.
Throw more dice. Kill him first.
But let's take a look at the rest you got. Pretty standard stuff with Luke Skywalker Trench Run version out there, and Sabine Wren with the Beskar reinforced plating. But this is where things start to get weird. We see a resurgence of Hull Oakland as the 3-point go-to ship for Rebels over Wedge. This is the boy version with the advanced proton torpedoes, the ability to recur charges, and that precise astromech, giving them that red link, basically a linked lock after any action. But what I want to talk about, though, is Keo Bensi with concussion missiles, Lone Wolf, and vectored cannons. Nobody's flying vectored cannons on their A-wings. Despite my advice, why have you decided vector cannons over the normal take an action, link it into a boost ability?
So several things. One, Keo hates being stressed because the side slip is either white or red. And 2, Brendan convinced me to do it because Brendan had been flying Keo a lot. Brendan played, I think, 5 or 6 tournaments with Keo with vectored cannons. And because I'm not flying another A-Wing, I don't run into the conflicts that other people would when they're flying a Wedge or Sabine A-Wing, where they don't want the vectored cannons abilities. The other thing it lets me do is fly, specifically with this build with the concussion Lone Wolf, I can rotate to the rear and basically chase after one person and lock them, and then I still have the rear arc to catch a ship behind me, because I can still fire the concussion missile forward if the person I've locked stays in my arc.
Yeah,
Which
that's
very
like it
flexible.
being a tiny little fire spray out there, huh?
Yeah, but it's very flexible. I also killed a Fen Rao with the rear arc shot, earlier on in the tournament as well, where I just rotated to the rear 2 straight over him. He flew behind me to collect an objective, and I dinged him for 2 damage at range 2. It was a lucky shot, but like every little bit of chip damage helps. And it just helps with their time on target a lot.
Did that hurt you inside doing that to Fenrau?
Nope. It made me smile because that's happened to me on innumerable occasions.
Oh yeah. No,
yes.
I think we even, this is now like what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yes. In Space Jam.
The very first Space Jam, yeah, we had a top cut game where I was doing some variation of 5A. I think it was 2 pod 3A or 1 pod 4A or whatever. It was with that It's the Resistancing Finn in.
You're flying Kalen's list from Worlds.
A variation of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fen died to a lot of rear arc shots. So yes,
absolutely.
It is a bane of Fang existence is not front arc shots.
Indeed. Speaking of which, that's why I don't. There's a lot of Fangs this tournament, but a lot of them, and some of them did well, but a lot of them got pretty dunked on by Whispers and Falcons and stuff this weekend.
Because you do bring like a dorsal turret with hull as well. So 3 of your ships now have extra attack arcs to mess with Fangs, or just have better time on target in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Hull is interesting. So I like Hull over Wedge because Hull is a way scarier piece to have on the table. Wedge is one of those things where your opponent will either try to net him early or will just ignore him for the whole game. Hull is one of those ships that you throw him into the mix and your opponent goes, I can't ignore this ship. I have to shoot him. Because if he gets the APT off, depending on how well you roll, which is usually, you usually have double mod, so usually you're going to roll 5 hits. Like 87%, I think. I can't remember the exact percentage. It's a very high percentage of 5 hits with double mods. If you get that off into a key piece, like, it can win you games.
Yeah, and like, that advanced proton torpedo should be double modded on almost all of those APT attacks.
The other thing is that Hull acts as almost like a Biggs, because the way Hope works, and Hull has Hope because every Battle of Yavin Rebel piece has Hope, is you can focus or boost after one of your friends dies. And so if you're focused and there are range 2 of you, and your friend dies, you can boost, trigger the target lock mech, and like precise astromech, and you can go boost lock, and you're now range 1 and have a double modded APT, which is something that catches some people off guard. I didn't get one of those this tournament, but I did end up blocking several ships into the APT.
Also remember, everyone, every Battle of Yavin Rebel has Hope. So,
including Battle of Yavin Luke.
Exactly, which is probably one of the most forgotten trigger in the current meta. Hands down,
I've never
not even a
Luke
question.
use it. Not once.
I've used it once on Luke. And that's usually because my Luke dies first.
Yeah, but
Lukes haven't done it to me as much because they've tried to lock me and I had Ferrosphere, so they couldn't do it anyway.
Nice.
That Hope should work on all of the other ships as well. So if Sabine dies, you can still proc it. It doesn't have to be just boy. Like the
but only Battle of Yavin ships can do the actions when they're first die.
Yeah. But like for the Separatists, like the contingency protocol, it has to be another contingency. That is not the case with these.
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
I mean, those don't exist really, so we can move on.
Whoa, shunned.
Look,
I just had a great game this past week with it on the stream.
This is not a slight to you, James. This is a disgruntled separatist faction player who cannot play his fun droids, otherwise he gets crushed. I tried recently, I did, and I sadly lost 3 ships in 1 round, and I was like, oh, this is why I don't play you guys.
I mean, if you look at my list alone, if you put 5 droids down on the table, and Luke can Protorp 1, Han can double tap 2, Hall Aachen could APT 1, and Kyo could double modded Conk Missile 1.
Oh, yeah.
It's very easy to see you just going, your 5 of your ships are just gone.
Oh, well, just keep in mind, I only had 1 Vulture in my list, and I still had 3 ships die in 1 round.
Ugh, that's rough.
Granted, it's partially my fault. I was the user, but I could go. I'll just go back to my other factions.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel with Scum a lot. Is like I'm gonna try this one thing, and then you play against like a really good player flying like one of the medalists. And you're like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe we should all play Resistance, like Dragoon Kane. What's Dragoon Kane's real name?
That is Brendan Conrad Osmond Damon.
Osmond Damon. Yes.
Yeah. And Brendan is a local of mine. He's also on Team Canada. He is part of Gonk Squadron and also part of my local league, which is the Grand River Xwing League.
So you're very
finally
familiar
got off the
with
sixth
Brendan.
ship Resistance. I know Brendan was on that for a very long time.
We for XTC, I wanted Brendan to fly 4X plus a Y or like some variant of 5X. And Brendan was like, I don't really like this list. There's not enough Y-Wings in it. And I don't think if I bring more Y-Wings, it'll be competitive in XTC. So I said, that's fine. We'll do some list shuffling and someone else will bring 5X. And you can bring whatever you want in Empire. So Brendan's flying a cool bomber plus stuff list in Empire, and Andrew Oler is playing Resistance for us. But Brendan has continued trying out the Resistance list, and he decided to basically YOLO this tournament with it, just to see how it would go. And he had basically zero faith in his ability to play this list, which is very funny because the rest of us had a lot of faith in him playing it.
I was gonna say, like,
as it turns out, pretty good. Weird.
Yeah. So, yeah. I guess I'll do a rundown on it. So, we had the core three: Elo, Temin, Jess, Pava, right? Jess with R2D2 Astromech, Jamming Beam, Temin with HLC R68, Elo with HLC Heroic Marksmanship. For the other two, R3X plus 2, we have Zori, as Brendan wanted a Y-Wing, not surprising, Zori. Wartime, R4, Dorsal Plasma. That's kind of the standard Zori at this point. Very effective, straightforward. I'm going to put plasma in your face and do real damage. In the final ship, Kare Kun with HLC Heroic and GMA Beam. I think the last time we saw a highly placed Kare Kun was with Afterburners. I think I still like that version a little more. But I mean, more HLCs just dunk on more stuff. Yeah.
Specifically Arcs and Han. I'm only gonna get like 1 or 2 shots in these before they either vanish into the ether or I never see them again. So I have to make those 1 or 2 shots I have on target count more.
Potentially, yeah. I think 5X already can dunk on arcs pretty well without the HLC. Kare could be multitude of other things, but Kare worked for Brendan, so awesome. I know people have tried Kaz, which I think people are souring on Kaz a whole bunch. I have no clue why. I think Kaz is still great.
He is variance heavy and does not have boost. Is the main
slam.
The lack of boost is one of the big ones.
I like Notorious.
Yeah, Slam is cool, but Slam is not boost.
Yeah, too hard boost is terrible. You're right.
I mean, it's not terrible. It just costs actual resources as opposed to boost, which does not.
It's an action. There's no thing an action.
But so the slam and the fireball to shoot afterwards, you have to flip a card face up.
Oh, I'm not slamming into combat. I'm slamming to leave, so you have harder time killing me.
Oh yeah, the people are boosting into combat, which is the thing.
Sure. Then you have like front back arc style with Vanessa Doza, which I'm iffy on. I think if you're bringing Vanessa, may as well bring Lulo. So Lulo's the other one too. But if I crawl, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Brendan doesn't like RZ2s anyway. Am I right or no?
It's mediocre. Lulo is pretty mid tier. A lot of the people that like play Resistance, at least in my local league, don't like Lulo because basically you pay the same cost as a T70 for a 5 health T70, which feels kind of mid. Like, even though it's she's I5, it's cool. She has more mobility, sure. But like at that point, like most people just be like, okay, I'll just bring Vanessa anyway because she's tankier, and like beef in general, especially in a high offense meta, like has less it's just what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's less variance prone than like a 5 health ship.
That makes sense. Still though, resistance, very very good. Actually, Cam, you might know this. Question I had: did everybody in XTC bring resistance?
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't think
there
there's a
was
single
one.
nation.
I think there was one. I think there's one.
Wow. Out of
Is it pirates?
20
It's
teams
not
or
pirates.
something.
Pirates has resistance. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I have to pull up the document.
Sure.
But I remember like seeing. I'm pretty sure I saw one without resistance.
Yeah, but almost a pretty solid rate of.
I mean, at that point, it's like what,
Resistance.
20 whatever. Like there's 20 other countries
Yeah.
that brought resistance.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that there's a single country that decided, yeah, I'm not going to bring resistance is pretty, like, it's very low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the? Did you guys notice what was the least taken?
At our tournament.
Well,
Scum.
during XT
Scum.
STC.
Scum
as well.
There are 2 lists taken of Scum.
I was gonna say, yeah. I remember when we went to Golden Gate that there was more Scum lists at Golden Gate than there was in XTC.
The reason I know this is because I actually made a bet with Andrew Block that there would only be. I made an over/under bet at 1.5 Scum lists, and there were 2, and I was very sad. Because he took the over and I took the under. Oh well. I thought there would be 1. I thought there'd be exactly 1, but no. The Czech Republic is always flies their own lists every time. They always run crazy stuff. So they brought one, and then I don't remember the other one, the other country that brought them.
Well,
but the Czech Republic's in our group, which is why I remember it.
Well, speaking of crazy stuff, let's move on to the top 4 list by D. Del Achoir. I'm sure that's how the French pronounce it. Oh, this
is Damien.
I'm
sure I'm pronouncing this wrong. I'm almost positive, so I'm sorry, but it is Damien. Is his first name, and I messed up his last name, so I'm not even gonna try it here.
Sure.
He when I said his last name and then he corrected me, and then I tried to pronounce it again. He kind of cringed a little bit, so we're just not gonna bother.
Yes, do not offend anymore.
Me, Ian.
Yeah.
So let's go with that.
Damien.
With a super boring rebel list.
Very
Falcon, just Falcon, normal Falcon. Wait, this is Lando Falcon.
Yes, it is.
In my opinion, the better Falcon. Hot take.
Hot take.
Wow.
I don't know. I like Lando more. He's not I6, but I like the playstyle more of Lando than I do.
Yeah. So I played against Damien, and his strategy with this is basically to throw Hera the free evade with Lando's action, like with Lando's power ability action, and then so Hera ends up with focus evade, Lando ends up with double focus, and then you have cluster missiles on Kyo, thread tracers on Hera, and then like you have Boudica and Sabine to like follow up on shots and stuff.
It's reminiscent of the Heratani without the Xwing a little bit.
No.
Well, just like the being able to get double tokens on.
Yeah. So
Hera.
the key difference between this and Heratani is that Heratani carries Jin Urso, so that any focus can become an evade. And the reason that matters is because then Hera can pass focuses and turn them into evades when passed.
Yeah.
And the difference is important because it changes the efficiency of the token passing. And this list is arguably far more offense-based than the original Heratani was. Because the original Heratani is designed to be an engine that generates a ton of defensive tokens. The idea being that like you sit in a block and never die. Whereas this is much more of
unlimited.
I generate a ton of offensive. Yeah, and this one is I generate a ton of offensive mods. so that my Kyo can double mod their cluster missiles, Lando can single or double mod both his shots, and like Boudica gets mods, Sabine gets mods, everyone gets mods.
Right. Yeah, it is pretty interesting. Hera has like you mentioned those thread tracers. Also brings munitions failsafe. Doesn't bring a talent. Kyo with elusive and cluster missiles. Interested to see how many elusive recharges they got there. I imagine that it might be a little bit difficult.
Hey, side slips can be read.
I can't
I
remember
guess
if
they can. That is actually super spicy.
I don't remember if the side slip counts. Let me look at the wording on this.
Oh yeah, it increases difficulty to read.
Oh, yeah, it's just after you fully execute red.
maneuver.
I couldn't remember it was after you revealed red maneuver. After you
yeah.
fully execute.
Yeah, if it was a reveal, it wouldn't be
Let's
red at that
reveal,
point.
Yeah, but it's after you fully execute red. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm in on that because three hard side slip and get your elusive charge back is pretty cool, and a force back. Yeah.
So talking with some of the locals, apparently in their local meta, elusive is super common on Kyo, whereas in my local meta, like Lone Wolf is super common on Kyo.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they like to fly a Kyo more in the formation than as like a flanker.
Right.
Or at least that's what I saw.
I mean, yeah,
they're getting help with
when you have
Lando
Hera and Lando around, it's gonna be hard to like trigger Lone Wolf. At least, like if you're attempting to stay with the group.
Yeah, you want to stay with that group, right?
Absolutely.
Also have Boudica Venge, of course, a great rebel piece. Somehow 4 points. Man, every time I see it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's wrong somehow.
Boudica is the best Fang fighter in the game. Period.
Man, yeah, for the point cost for sure.
The point cost, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. But also, still the best Fang fighter in the game.
Yeah, brings a pretty standard loadout of Predator, Beskar reinforced plating, and Mando optics. And we have Sabine Wren, best 2-pointer in the game.
Yes.
So bringing the best 2-pointer, the best 3-pointer, and the best 4-pointer. Cool.
Definitely one of the best 4-pointers.
Yeah, and then Kyo, probably the best 3-pointer. I think we've pretty much ironed that out.
Kyo is definitely up there.
Oh, definitely maybe behind Malorus or something.
I'd take Kyo over Malorus.
I would take Kyo over Malorus as well.
Really? Wow.
Movement's so much better.
It's the movement and the time on target. And the fact that Malorus only gets 2 turns of being immortal, and Kyo can tends to be able to run away a lot better.
Malorus doesn't have boost.
Yeah, also the vectored cannons thing with Kyo, super cool when you can boost 5 straight, because it can put you in a lot more positions than the 5 straight boost can.
Yeah, the
wider spread.
Yeah, the boost. Yeah, it's the same amount of places, but very different. Like, oh, he's just gonna 5 straight boost. He's gonna be right here with a little bit of uncertainty. But the boost,
it's like
5
a range
straight
1 bubble.
Yeah,
it's a range 1 bubble as opposed to like a range 3 bubble of where you can be, or range 3 like cone, I guess. Yeah, and then like you can barrel roll at the end of that too. Yeah. So very handy.
Yeah, pretty interesting list. Brings the best 4-pointer, the best 3-pointer, and the best 2-pointer. Brings a great support piece in Hera, and then also brings a, like I said, in my opinion, hot take, better Falcon.
He's a decent 7-point Falcon.
I would say the second 7-point. Oh, maybe the third after Wreck.
Yeah, because like in my opinion, like the tier list is like Han, a fairly wide gap, then Rack, then an enormous gap, and then everything else.
Yeah, but the Lando's strongly at the top of that everything else list.
yeah, I can put him there.
And just like I said, in my opinion, just more fun to fly.
I would say Poe sits somewhere at the top of that pack as well.
Who?
Flyboy Poe.
Oh, Flyboy Poe. Yeah, Flyboy Poe. Yeah.
All versions of Poe are more fun than all versions of Rebel Falcons.
That is true. Definitely more fun and more engaging to fly.
That is true. Even Commander Poe, just out there, it's like still pretty cool.
Commander Poe can still take overdrive thrusters.
Yeah,
ergo, still way more fun.
Ergo, way more fun. Speaking of T70s, we have our other top 4. Zeladius.
You know, what's the latest?
Who would that be, Cam? Who was the other?
Oh,
resistance
I don't.
top four?
I honestly don't know.
That's okay.
Such a
I
bad
legit-
person.
I legitimately don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, they did so
could it
well.
be-
Maybe we should know their name.
I probably should.
No.
I almost certainly should. Although, actually, hold on. Wasn't our other top
No,
four
the-
should have been FO?
Yeah, wait a minute.
This
Yeah.
is
Wait,
this
what?
is FO.
Should have been McKee.
What are you
Oh, it's
doing,
out of
pattern
order.
analyzer? Jeez,
Nailed
get
it, pattern
yourself
analyzer.
together. So
Oh,
it was-
is Zeladius Mark? Brendan, thank you for pinging me that. Yeah, apparently Zeladius is Mark Anderson, who I do know, because he flies out of the Oshawa area. But McKee was top 4.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
flying
all
first
right.
order here
First
with
order.
Major Rhymer, shield upgrade, pattern analyzer, marksmanship, no missile, no mag pulse there. Midnight was swarm tactics and fanatical LaHughes with special forces, barrage, rockets, and marksmanship. Kylo Ren with the enhanced jamming suite, pattern analyzer, proud tradition, malice, and heightened perception. Again, no missile. And then Scorch. Which version of Scorch is this? Well, pretty easy to tell with a bomblet generator, mag pulse, warheads, and a feedback ping talent on there. What's the feedback pinging? Just his own bomblet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, being able to get that I6 mag pulse through the Midnight Swarm tactics there. Plus, you can follow it up by 3 very well modded shots between Von Reg, LaHughes, and that Kylo Ren. It still worries me, Kylo Ren's without some sort of munition, mag pulse or concussion or something. But if you're good enough with the pattern
With the
analyzer,
bullseyes.
yeah, line up those bullseyes after repositioning. Can be very good. That pattern analyzer proud tradition combo gives them boost or barrel roll into jam, and then get a stress and still be able to focus action. Very, very powerful when you start K-turning.
Oh my! I personally hate this combination. It's a pet peeve of mine that ships shouldn't do more actions when they do red maneuvers
No, it's
than
the
they
first
do when
order
they
way.
do normal maneuvers.
No, it's
And
the
first order is the only faction in the entire game that breaks this principle.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, sir. 9 nub resistance.
Yeah,
9 is one ship, sir, and his pilot ability does it. The
Not
first
a whole
order has
faction.
several chassis that can do it.
I'll just
across
kill them
multiple
before they turn around. Easy.
Sure,
just
totally
drop them.
doable. Yeah, just do that. Easy.
Bender in the chat pointed out that feedback ping is not for him. That is for LaHughes to use.
That's clever.
Interesting.
Oh, so free lock from Scorch, even if Scorch's not looking at the thing, LaHughes can use the lock anyway.
Right. Yeah. Because it's
Very
really
handy.
difficult to get a feedback ping and shoot that thing that you feedbacked. So
You always have to sloop.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have to sloop, right? Yeah.
But you don't have to if LaHughes gets to shoot him.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And LaHughes, the reverse
Usability.
inverse coordinator.
Usability. Perform and attack. Okay, just want to make sure because this LaHughes has
Mhm.
barrage rockets.
Does work.
Granted,
with
he also
barrage.
has Special Forces Gunner for free, but I didn't know if he can use his ability with the barrage rockets. The answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I've definitely got. Man, that LaHughes with barrage rockets, man. That is just
Rude.
It's very
so
good.
so good because I almost took down a LaHughes and then he on 2 hole just flies off into the distance shooting me with barrage rockets. I was like,
Yeah.
how did you
turns
get
out-
more efficient on the way out?
Yup. Yup.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, once again, breaking the rules.
Well,
Yeah.
pretty
that's kinda what
awesome to
First
see.
Order does.
Look, some version of a fire spray's got to be okay.
Yeah, turns out, you just needed to go a
I-
couple more years into the future.
And
for-
fly a miniaturized one.
Make it a
That's-
tie.
Yeah, and make it a tie with 3 agility.
If you put tie in front of the ship, it's all of a sudden just fine. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah, the TIE fire
100%.
spray. The TIE fire spray, alive and well.
Tire fire.
tire spray.
Well, speaking of things I'm tired spray of, we're going back to the Resistance Actually, I do love it. This one by Zeladius, which I'm glad you said it before I tried to pronounce Zelda Ilicious.
AKA
That
Mark
that is what
Anderson.
you had said.
Mark
Yeah.
Anderson.
Also known
Anderson.
as Zelda-licious.
So delicious. Oh my.
Flying their resistance list here: Jessica Baba, BB, and S Ferrospheric Paint, LO Ferrospheric Paint, Swarm, Timon, R68. That's the Squad Predator, Astromech with Ferrospheric Paint, and Heroicum sensing a pattern here. Lulo with Shield Upgrade, Predator, and Marksman. And then Zori Bliss with Plasma, More Time, R4, Dorsal. The things you need. She stressors herself for that second action, so you need that R4. And you need to shoot out the turret and out the front. So the rest of your upgrades kind of just fall in line there. Interesting using here Swarm Tactics to bump up Jessica Pava to have 4 ships shooting at I5, and then I4 with Dem and Wexley. Very interesting. Underrated Swarm Tactics. Elo Asti. If Marcel would have been on, we would have berated him about his upgrade choices in his last Store Championship run, where we suggested Elo should have just had Swarm Tactics. But here we see it to great effect, used with the pairing of Jessica Pava. And we do have that Lulu Lampar showing up as another of the 3x plus 2. You have a little bit of ship variety there. I mean, still pretty good with the 4 dice range 1 rear attacks. Pretty powerful stuff.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I like
yeah.
that trick.
Pretty
It's actually, this is very similar to at least the Ferrosphere taking in the pilots. The only swap is Zorian for Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
What I had mainly tried in the past. It's also actually, this list is probably even closer to what Dom Flanagan is flying for XTC. I saw him on stream versus Brazil opponent,
Mm-hmm.
and that ended up in a tie game. It was really, really close.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, same idea. Like it's like Jess, Elo, and Zori just kind of fly together in this like general like hammered squad. Just Jess being swarmed to 5. Zori lighten up the first target with plasmas, and then just everyone piling on
up
after that. Yeah. Lulo and Temin doing some flanking and some speed. So you got like 2 ships who can go on their maybe not on their own, quote unquote, but they got some speed to attack from a different vector, whether it's together or separate. And then your main sort of hammer group of 3 of Elo, Jess, and Zori.
Yeah, Mark's been playing Resistance for several years now. He's been doing very good with them. He's placed solidly at a bunch of local tournaments. He's flying out of Oshawa, Ontario. And yeah, I think this is his first trip where he's like traveled somewhere to play in a tournament. He did very well. Very, very well.
Nice. Good to hear.
Congrats to Mark.
I do have a question. As we see Zori Bliss twice here, is it because she takes an action when another ship takes their perform action step at range 1 of her, and then she takes the stress. Mm-hmm. Assuming you try to do that before she moves,
yes,
is that how that works? That she could. But I imagine flying with Elo, you could do it after.
You can do it either or, yeah.
Either order, yeah.
Okay.
But the key thing though, and this came up in my game in the finals against Brendan, is if you block one of them, it doesn't work.
Perform action
step. As well.
Yeah.
So basically, if you block Zori, it still works because Zori will just move after and get blocked and take the red focus. So if Elo moves and isn't blocked, Elo can lock, pass Zori the lock. Zori locks, moves, clear stress, bumps you, focuses. Mm-hmm. But if you block Elo, what happens is Elo moves, bumps. Zori can't take the focus when you bump focus because it's not during your perform action step.
Right.
And then so Zori can only lock or focus.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you can't like I remember I tried to like engineer this like coordinating list where I'll coordinate all these things and trigger Zori, and I think I was doing both of them wrong. I was doing Commander Poe wrong, and I was doing Zori Bliss wrong. Uh, lesson learned. But now I start to see this combination with Zori, where you can fight against it with those blocks. Makes a lot of sense.
Brendan also brings something up that's important. Is that Zori can also trigger off of enemy ships.
Yep, which is actually very big. I think that's the lesser talked about thing, because the obvious part of Zori right now is she can double mod plasmas at I5. Awesome.
Yep.
Like that's the
It's
general
fantastic.
draw. But I think with people, and even myself, because personally, like I've seen Zori do really well so far. She's actually one of the best performing ships in the game, like up there with Han. And it's hard for me to yet figure out if that's because she's commonly brought in one of the best lists in the game, or if it's actually her. Like, should she always be in the 5-ship resistance? I don't know yet. I haven't grasped her. I don't like her a ton personally, but I'm gonna try and put my head to the ground and really try and figure her out. But the other part of it is when enemy ships do actions around her, she can do that action as well. So if a ship decided to barrel roll, she can then barrel roll to either get you back in her arc or just leave the arc that was trying to barrel roll around her. Or same with boost. There's the like, do you ever want to take an action around her when she can do the same action back to you type of thing? Sometimes it's not that bad, it's not that difficult, but a good Zori player will engineer a situation where an opponent's gonna have to make a tough decision.
Right. Yeah, Vader comes in and target locks a unstressed, focused up Zori. So he's gonna have something.
Grabs the lock back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, assuming Vader's at range 1, not as scared as the plasma that it could have been, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Well, let's get through the rest of this top 8 here, because I actually want to keep going to find a faction that we haven't covered yet. We have
spoilers. You're not
Sebastian Dupois out here, and I what?
Dupuis.
Dupuis. Gotcha. I'm not French Canadian myself, so. Anyways,
I'm not either.
Anyways, we have the new standard here, the whole 5-ship Rebels with Han, Hull, Sabine, Keo, and this time, no Luke, fresh off her live-action TV show, Ahsoka Tano, out there with concussion missiles, elusive, brilliant evasion, and predictive shot. Interesting, no instinctive out there, but I guess when you got 3 force and 3 agility, you can just take the lock yourself. Very
with
interesting.
Elusive? Yeah. With elusive, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. Very interesting combination there. Ahsoka fascinates me because of the coordinate possibilities, but in play, it seems that she just locks for 3 rounds in a row, shoots 3 concussion missiles, so then survives, flies off. So this would kind of solve the what you brought up was that like most people just target Luke right away. Anyways, well, Ahsoka is a little bit more maneuverable and a little bit more defensive than Luke. Can be a little bit more defensive than Luke. So interesting to see there. I also have Blue Tricycle coming in. This with the Hera and Fang's version of 5 ships. So you got Sabine, Boudica, Luke, Fenn Rau with Beskar, Predator, Crackshot, all pretty standard there. And then Hera Syndulla with Magpulse, Warheads, and Hopeful. So it doesn't bring the Benthic, but...
Did Kalen Wong make it to this list? Is he posing as Blue Tricycle Cam? What's going on here?
No, so this is actually Sebastian Demers, and he is actually a local of Kalen Wong. He has, I believe, family out in Montreal, and he was traveling there anyway. He was there for last year's tournament as well. And no, Seb has done very well. I believe he won one of the online Gold Squadron events over the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player.
Showing you don't
Obviously.
need Han to get into the top 8 here with Rebels.
Yeah, obviously, like very Kalen Wong inspired list here.
Yeah, this is also the list. So this is a list that when finalist at Gen Con against Tyler, Zach Bart ran pretty much the same thing. He might have had Beskar reinforced and Sabine instead of Lone Wolf. Even Kalen hasn't figured out which one's the more correct one between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'm not surprised as you say yes. This person from Kalen Wong's area, so Kalen probably introduced him to this type of list, and he probably ran with it a bit further, take it to this event, or maybe he thought of it himself, and just him and Kalen came to the same conclusions. Either way, it's a list we don't see a ton of, but when it has shown up in experienced hands, it is a very good pool box list that has a lot of staying power with Hera if you're smart about how you can use Hera best. Because it's like, as Cam mentioned before, the other Hera, these aren't Heratanis. Like, you are limited, but you have more offensive output with things like Sabine to take care of your objectives, Hera having the tool of Mag Pulse available at I6. You got Fenrau also pressuring ships at I6, and then Luke with his offensive output, and then Bodica just around there being like, if you want to take any of those other things out, you're gonna have to deal with an extra shot each round.
Mm-hmm.
Why
The
don't
key
you
for
just
me,
shrink Khan into just a Fang, basically, is what I think about Bodica.
yeah. So the key for me, playing against this list in Swiss was because I had Han, I had the ability to target Hera first, shoot Hera with trick shot, and basically force her to spend her evade on herself, and then shoot Bodica. So Bodica didn't have focus evade on 3 greens, which is very rough to try to shoot through.
Did you get shot back from that Bodica, or was Han out of Bodica's arc at that point?
No. So if you watch the final, the same maneuver I pulled with Han in the final, where I flew over the rock in the middle into the flank position, I did in Swiss against Seb. Arguably, I did it better in Swiss. It was getting pretty sloppy towards the end of the day there.
Yes, a fellow large base, just I don't care. I'm getting the best position possible enjoyer.
Indeed. I mean, I get to reroll the rock damage. What's the worst that can happen?
Also comes from being a rack player, I assume. Just yeet through anything. I want to be here.
Rack and dash, yes. Yeah, very much a rack and dash player.
All right, well, we got one more Rebel list here on our top 8 spot from Joust Bunny with Bodica Venge. This one taking Electronic Baffle instead of the Mandalorian Optics, taking Electronic Baffle and Marksmanship instead. I guess you could get rid of that Deplete or Stress, either one. Then we have Sabine Wren with Beskar Reinforce Plating and Crack Shot. They're just sneaking extra upgrades on their TIE Fighter, huh? No, that's a joke. That's got to be the A-Wing version of them.
It is the A-Wing. It is Sabine Wren the A-Wing. This is actually a person named Courtney Moore. He's from New Hampshire, all the way up from New Hampshire. Very cool. I think he might have been the only American at the event. Very good player. We played a nail biter in our top 8 game, and I won by, I want to say, like 4 points or something. But if he had managed to half Han, it would have been a tie game.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very close.
Well, it does bring a lot of 3 agility ships here. Wedge in the A-Wing as well with Marksmanship, Lone Wolf. Ahsoka Tano, this one has Magpulse Warheads, Elusive Patience, and Brilliant Evasion. Then Fenrau with Beskar Reinforced Plating, Plasma Torpedoes, Deadeye Shot, and Marksman. So nice. I love that Deadeye Shot Marksman combination. But Plasma Torpedoes out there, I guess they can get a second action through Ahsoka, being able to spin that force, give Fenrau like the linked actions or the target lock. He needs to fire off that plasma torpedo. But yeah, actually a really interesting list, bringing some wild upgrades here.
Yeah. So in our game, he used Ahsoka's coordinate to basically hand Fen Rao all target lock at I5, and then had Fen move and boost focus at I6. Oh, thanks. Tim in the chat is telling me that Mark is actually from Pickering. My apologies. I just knew he had Star Wars Gaming Durham as his affiliation link. So, my bad. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. Awesome to see out here, though, this Rebel list.
I did want to quickly honorable mention 2 lists. At number 14, I believe. If you want to scroll down to that one.
We're going to be talking about more factions here because we've beat the Rebel and Resistance drum to death here. But what do you got at 14 here?
Separatist, and a pretty spicy Separatist list at that. Just wait till it pulls up.
Is by someone named Snoop Hogg, which I love it.
Love it. It is Darth Maul in the Infiltrator, the Sith Infiltrator. With the scimitar title, of course, Hate, K2B4, and Savage Oppress. K2 is the relay that you spend calculates to get a free evade unless the attacker gains a strain. And Savage, of course, is the spend a force when someone in your front arc takes a stress at they get a focus. So he has 2 Magna Guard Protector in the Rogue class with Synced Laser, Independent, and Discord missiles. DIS 347 and the Droid Tri-Fighter with Intercept Booster, Independent, Discord missiles. And of course 081 with Struts, Energy Shell, and Independent calculations. Lots of weird stuff going on here, but Savage able to give real focuses out to those Magna Guards, or 347. I think Nutano said that he was giving it out to his Magna Guards pretty often, so that is pretty neat to get that full focus for the Synced Laser Cannon.
Yeah, also Snoop Hogg is Ron Hogg, who co-cast the top 8 with Dion.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
Didn't make the top 8, but he was still there in spirit and in our hearts with this great list.
Can you read Magna Guard Protector for me?
Yeah, I was gonna. That was the next thing I was gonna touch. Okay. So Magna Guard Protector, you after placing forces assign a guarded condition to a friendly ship other than Magna Guard Protector. It's a double pip, so he brought as many as he could take. While a ship is guarded, while they defend, if you are not in the attacker's bullseye, roll 1 additional defense die for each friendly, calculating, or evading Magna Guard Protector in the attack arc. So potentially getting this, I assume that he's putting it on Maul, up to 3 agility.
Yeah. So Crispy was actually flying these with Sunvok earlier on in the point cycle. It was this point cycle or last point cycle. I don't remember which. But yeah, this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because these were 5 points before.
5 agility, Sunvok. Nothing, never being shot at, like ever.
Yeah, turns 5 agility, Sunvok. Still rolls 5 blanks. Takes a crit. It's
pilot. I will say I did try single Magna Guard Protector with Sunfok this point cycle, and it is really weird trying to fly a rogue around with a Nantex. Weird that I was like, I'm not gonna bother anymore.
You just gotta be in the attack arc, and with 2 of them, you just put them on either side.
It sounds easy, but the Nantex moves in very weird ways, and the rogue is very limited.
It's also non-bullseye too, so if you bullseye the target you're trying to shoot, they don't get the bonus dice.
Yeah, I guess you are trying to thread that needle of not being in bullseye, but also being in arc of at least one of these Magna Guards. Yeah, especially if it's on Maul, which is a large base.
Yeah, putting on Maul gets bullseye, then he doesn't get the bonus from guarded, but I guess being I5, he can barrel roll his way into certain spots. Because I can see the idea, right? You're your Magna Guards are adding agility to Maul, which a 3 agility hate ship. I mean that's Vader right now. But what if Vader had like 10 health instead of 6? That thing's never dying. So
yeah, and also could potentially double attack.
yeah, like really good. And then Maul's carrying though at the same time something that helps the defense of the Magna Guard protectors.
Yeah, so it's not just
they're like
one
playing off each other a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving, and they're taking a little bit. So
yeah.
Given
also, I'm pretty sure, like, because I remember also oddly enough coming to another. I had a game against Cam at one point in the past that when I was testing out a Magna Guard protector in a list that he just rolled up with Fen and like, all right, Fen's here now. I'm like, start of engagement, Discord missiles. He's like, rogues can take Discord missiles. Like a lot, most people just don't assume. Most people just don't assume that rogues get Discord missiles at all. Like they're always like, oh, that's from a vulture or like a droid-looking ship. Like no,
absolutely. That's what I thought.
100% people will not remember that those ships have Discord missiles.
Yeah, there are no limitations on Discord missiles besides being separatist.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things to calculate.
I also forget that
I
also forget that the rogues have missile slots because no other faction uses theirs.
I mean,
this is like the one time the missile slot like makes sense because the loadout available allows you to take synced independent calculations. And you have 2 points left, and you're like, well, they're just Discord missiles.
And Discord missiles, yeah. That was why. So like when I played against Stanny in that game, I was so surprised because I saw you had synced laser cannons. And I just didn't look farther than that because I'm like, okay, you just got synced, cool. Because no other rogue even bothers filling that slot because they don't have the points. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I don't know what that charge is, but like I'm sure it won't be important in this game.
Oh, I didn't read this too closely.
It's gotta be some type of contraband cybernetics. That's what all rogues take, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll kill it before it contrabands. Whatever.
Or kill it after. It doesn't matter.
But very, very cool list, Mr. Hog. And then just one more list I wanted to quickly touch on that we did catch on stream. It was a interesting game, I'll say. Was down in number
26, baby.
26, yeah, thank you.
26.
The only 8-ship list at the event.
Yeah, look at that beautiful Black Squadron Aces.
True Black Squadron, the absolute true Black Squadron.
Yeah, I'll let you tear this one down, Will, because I know you've been playing this one.
I might fly this one. I flew Black Squadrons in the draft league last week. I lost, of course, but I still, Black Squadrons might be the underdog of the season. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Black Squadron Ace TIE fighters, leaving you an 8-ship slot and 6 points, which this is Empire, so only one option there. That's Darth Vader, boy, with marksmanship, hate, and afterburners, his standard loadout there. This looks amazing. You can't deal with 7 TIE fighters and Darth Vader. If you can, you better deal with Darth Vader real quick. The Black Squadron Ace is just so beautiful to me. Of just watching like a 6 or 7 point ship just like do 1 damage to a 2-point TIE fighter. Just warms my heart. So yeah, that's actually very exciting that they respectable finish for.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Do you know I look at this list and I think Blair Bunky.
Sure. Yeah, the non-limited just swarm out there.
The low initiative, huge ship count, one piece that's like the central piece of the list, and everything else is the exact same. All generics. It's just a huge swarm. And you gotta play it like either like the net or like play it so like one ship blocks, everything else comes in the shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in what kind of formations or the Black Squadrons were in on that. Maybe
it was on stream.
Blocks.
It was on stream round 2.
I'll have to check it out.
2. Yeah,
I'll have to watch that too.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: it was assault and no ship died.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I definitely want to watch this game
And
now.
it was
Wait.
11
It sounds
to 1.
amazing.
Wait. There were 8 ships on one side. They were TIE fighters. You couldn't kill a TIE fighter? I need to have a talk with this other person who faced up against this list. You couldn't kill a TIE fighter?
Immortals.
My friend Tristan has been talking about this list for, I want to say, like 2 months now. Still hasn't put it on the table, but he's been like, every time he's like, he goes back to the drawing board list, he's like, man, I could play that Darth Vader list. It's just Vader and 7 ties, man.
Just do it.
Will's been doing it for quite a while. Of like, I could do something else, but
I could do this.
I could fly
do this, man.
8. I could fly 7
Look.
TIE fighters and Darth Vader.
Tristan, if you're listening,
It's Tristan,
and you should, because I love you, Tristan, go fly that list and have fun.
We do have a tournament this Saturday.
This was Gilwam Leonard. No idea if I did that correctly, but
I believe it's Guillaume.
Guillaume.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong too, because my French is very much not very good.
Hard name to pronounce, easy list to break down.
We did see a lot of the Grand Republic in the top half of the tournament, but I'm shunning them for now. Even though I love the players who are dedicated to the faction, I'm looking for literally any other faction that's not First Order Resistance. Where's my scum?
You're scrolling past Don's double fire spray and dirge list. Sad.
I don't.
It's separatist.
Congrats. Yeah, congrats on your separatist.
He actually won a store championship with that earlier this year.
What is this? A Tiber Saxon Rhymer? I can't stop now. We got to keep going through. I didn't find it. Where the scum at?
They're all the way at the bottom, sir.
Yeah, there's 2 at the bottom.
They're at the very bottom.
I see them here. Oh, well. I was gonna take the best one, but now I guess I'll read through both. I feel bad for scum players who are just like, just skip through. Hopefully they don't skip through this part, but they're just like, yeah, resistance, rebel, yeah, skip. But let's read through them here. See what people are taking to major tournaments for scum. This one has Limakai, Plasma R4, B11, Sarasu with Proton Torpedoes, Dirge with Proton Cannon, False Transponder, Marksman, Quinchast with Proton Rockets, and Elusive, love Elusive, Quinchast. And then Fenrau with the Beskar Reinforced Plating, Mandalorian Optics, Fearless, and Predator. So this list coming in actually looking to hit pretty hard there.
Yeah. Okay.
With all those munitions.
Trying to put as many proton things as you can fit on each of those ships.
More protons. Wow, that could be scary.
So most of our communities in Canada are pretty out on scum. Both the scum players in this tournament were relatively very new. They've been playing for a couple months each, I believe. One of them I think has only been playing for a couple weeks. I would say like probably less than 3 months. Yeah. This is a alright list. I'm not a huge fan of Sirasu. Sirasu tends to die when you take the lock for the proton torpedo, which makes it hard to get off unless you have some kind of coordinator to hand her an extra token. And also, single-modded proton torpedoes are kind of mediocre at the moment, which is the other sad part.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Plasma, but
yeah, I learned the hard way with like Padme protons. I just gave up and went to plasmas.
Yep.
You're struggling. You're struggling to get 2 hits on 4 dice. It seems like. The math says you should get 3.
The math said, I don't care what the math says. I
don't care what the math says. You can fit Juke with plasma torpedoes on Padme, by the way.
I'm quite aware, sir.
Yeah,
it's pretty great. Can confirm.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We're flying it next TC. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Okay.
It's good.
All right. Well, I would give thumbs up on that list composition from ARIQ. This one though, don't want to call you out. Zen Ogre Alpha, but your list could use some work. Let's take a look at it here. We got Cavill, Deadman Switch, Ion Cannon Turret, not too bad. The Tapusk. This is a I-5 Hawk who will shut down your force with Rookcast and Cutthroat. Rookcast gives you a strain and an automatic offensive conversion when you take a red action. So when you're boosting, you're jamming.
Yes.
Rotate. You got. I mean,
When you
got
take a red action, yeah.
lock,
So
rotate, and
there's a
focus
story
rotate.
behind this. To put in this list, I believe it's supposed to be Cavill, or not Cavill, sorry, Paylob. But he actually forgot his card day of, and so someone had to lend him a card at the event.
Topuz.
So he also flew at 19.
Yes, which is why it was flown at 19.
Well, that makes a lot more sense.
Or I think it might have been Cavill was supposed to be. Yeah, but yeah, basically, he forgot one of his cards and had to make do with what was available at the time, which is super unfortunate. I think it was either his first tournament or one of his very first tournaments. So yeah.
So I mean, it's still interesting to see. So we'll just imagine that's Paylop in there. Let's see what else is on this list. Overseer Yushin. I'm gonna hand out. No, wait, that's Foreman Peroch also in this list. Ion Limiter Override and Elusive Precision Ion Engines and Elusive on Overseer Yushin. They work together. I don't know how.
So,
Foreman gives a tractor.
Approach gives tractor in Bullseye out to range 2.
Mm-hmm.
For a disarm.
And then for a disarm, exactly. Thank you. And then Yushin swaps it out for a stress.
So Foreman Approach is shooting tractor beams out there for the cost of a stress, as long as they're paired up with their TIE Fighter buddy. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's not even a tractor beam. It's like get a tractor, receive a tractor.
That's fair. Yushin, 2 points, win. Come on. Speaking of 2 points, so we got Bosk with Fearless and Drew Schlack with Contraband and Elusive. So I can see why this list might have some problems. Bring in 4 not great ships.
It's a new player list. Very much new player list.
There's always room for improvement. If you like what you are flying, keep at it. But
yeah, there are definitely like people that are playing with quote unquote sub-optimized lists that are doing very well because they practice it. So if you have a list and a playstyle that you like, just practice it. And 9 times out of 10, someone practicing a list over and over is going to beat out someone who net lists and is flying it for like the first time.
That's true.
Which is true. But there are some lists that are subpar.
I think this one may be too far gone.
Yeah. As soon as people start telling me that mining guild ties are the way to go, that's when I'm like, nope, that's probably not correct.
No, I would like to see something else in there. Maybe M3As. Pretty much
at least M3As, but even M3As are kind of mediocre at the moment too.
They're like TIE
it's very hard.
Shields. And
kind of with worse styles.
They're in timeout a little bit.
With worse styles and no linked actions is still sad. If you look at the 3-point options, like in terms of tier listing, there is a gigantic gulf between Kyo and anything Scum can bring at 3. Outside of maybe Lee Mackay, but like even Lee Mackay is single-plotted.
Lima at 3 still surprises me as well. In the same way that
Lima's not good though. Like, so how many times on average do you think we get like a Lee Mackay's ability off to get a double modded plasma?
I don't even care. I don't even care about the ability.
You're not looking for the double, just looking at K turn and shoot a plasma.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
or just shoot a plasma with R4B11.
Yeah, I don't like R4, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's just like the initiative 5 brings a turret and a plasma, pretty high.
Yeah, your ability screams flanker, but you're a jouster. So, man, Lima's ability in like literally any other chassis would be amazing. But
it'd be good, yeah.
Can you imagine that in something like Interceptor?
An Interceptor? That'd be pretty good.
Sure. Something like that. But yeah,
Star Viper? In a Star Viper.
Ooh, in a
Star
Viper.
All right, Lima, I think you're going to need to change ships real quick
or the Naboo starfighter, if it ever arrives.
Yeah, that's true. That could be a pretty cool faction, or that pretty cool ship ability for the Scum Naboo.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's round out what looked like and sounded like an exciting event here at the St. Laurent. I've been saying Lawrence. This is Laurent.
Laurent. So it is the St. Lawrence River is the river that Montreal is on, and St. Laurent is St. Lawrence in French. So you are
Okay.
technically correct.
So both are wrong and correct. Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a look at the stats here I got up on screen. If you're just watching with your ears, you could be watching with your eyeballs on the YouTubes. Take a look at these charts with us together. But we have, of course, the Rebel Alliance on top for our faction distribution, 25%, followed by Empire, Resistance, FO, and the Galactic Republic, all sharing about the same percentage there, 15 or 16%, with CIS and Scum falling behind. Pretty standard stuff there. Our cut rates, only Rebels, Resistance, and FO. No big surprise there. I always check the squad size. See that 8 makes a tick. Love to see that data point. But still, overwhelming amount of people.
I think it's gotten
5 ship.
It's gotten even more drastic.
It's now separated out into 5. At this event specifically, it's like I think every single game I played against a 5 ship list, except for my game 1, which was against a 4 ship.
When
list.
over 2/3 of the field are taking a 5 ship, it's likely that you're going to run into it a couple times. So
yeah,
well,
either have a plan to deal with 5 ship or be 5 ship.
Yeah. Actually, sorry. Fun fact that I forgot to mention is so Brendan and I also played the final of this event last year. So we actually had a finals rematch this year, which was very cool. Of course, he beat me last year. So
yeah, I was like, who won last year? The
that'd be
Revenge
Brendan.
of the final.
It was Revenge of the Final.
According to these stats, there's only 4 chassis being brought in Resistance. The only 14% of the list, which is like 1 or 2, had
at this event,
Kaz or Jaeger out there in the Fireball. But no Poe Falcons and no BB-8s.
No pods? Wow.
No.
So, weirdly enough, generally speaking, in Canada, Kaz is not super popular. And I don't know. So, in my local meta, I do see some Poe Falcon, but it's usually from Rathos when he flies. But, like, no one, well, very few people in my, like, league main Resistance, and most of them aren't flying Falcons currently.
Interesting. Poe Falcon's pretty good. What they can do.
And Brendan brings up an excellent point, which is that Resistance only have 6 chassis to start with.
I mean, that's fair. I don't know which one that wasn't counted in there. No, they have
7.
Well,
is it the couch? The couch is the one being counted potentially.
Flies and couches.
I mean, realistically, couches don't exist right now.
Yeah, I mean the couches exist.
Takajama. Put Takajama in your T7.
No,
no.
Didn't they literally rewrite the rules and make that not function correctly though? When they rewrote the jam rules.
No, it still functions right.
Okay.
It's just you can never Hondo
just
with it, which is what people want.
Right, it's the Hondo.
People want Hondo with her, which never had a crew slot for it.
She just doesn't have a lot of. She just doesn't have a lot of toys to do.
There's not enough load out there to do anything with it, and the couch is very mid as a ship outside of Kova.
Okay, Kova, great. But
Kova's also 5 points right now.
Yeah,
and not really worth 5.
More than a T70.
Not worth 5. And none at this point.
Well, it sounded like it was a great event. those videos are on our Twitch right now. You can, if you're a Twitch subscriber, you can hit those videos on demand. Otherwise, you gotta wait until they come up on the YouTube. But it sounds like it was an awesome event, Cam. Making memories. Where'd you guys go out to dinner? Is there like a Canadian
afterwards?
dinner spot?
No. So afterwards, we actually had a 7.5-hour drive home.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
I was actually Brendan's ride to the event.
No,
and
I mean
him
like
and
on,
our buddy.
on Saturday.
Oh, you
though,
mean
right?
on the Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Nobody goes out Sunday after the event.
on the Saturday we went to dinner at Abyss, the store we were at,
Oh, well,
because
there you
Abyss
go. That
has
checks out.
phenomenal food. So we just like leaving the store. Nah, we're eating here. Yeah. No, it was amazing. So Abyss does. They make amazing food there too. Because it's basically like a giant board game cafe.
Interesting. It sounds amazing. I need to go. This sounds like a mecca of all Canadian game stores.
It is nicer than any store I've been to in Ontario. Yeah, and I think probably nicer than any game store I've been to in the States as well. It reminds me a lot of FFG Center if it was like
Mhm.
less commercial and more like a private business.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
I
also
miss,
a pub with taps as well. So you know.
I miss the Game Center. R.I.P. Game Center.
Yeah, man. But yeah, like it's the Game Center if the Game Center sold gourmet French food.
That sounds amazing.
It's very excellent. Dion ordered French fries and only French fries. So you know.
That sounds like a Dion
really,
thing to do. Love Dion.
Sounds like you should come next year, Will.
I will. I'm required to get my passport by my longtime girlfriend. So, as we're trying to take one of those nice train rides. I want to take an overnight train ride through Canada. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's some pretty nice trains. They're expensive, which is why we drove.
They're very expensive, but
yeah,
it sounds fun.
Yeah, we were trying to get a group rate going, but it turned out that I think it was the Legion guys had to stay an extra day for their tournament, if I'm remembering correctly, or
Would they have
something
2
like
days
that.
to
So
Swiss?
we couldn't get like the group rate because they were coming back at a different time. Otherwise, we would have all taken the train because the trains are like super nice to run from Toronto all the way to Montreal.
I know, right? It sounds like a great time. A little Canadian train ride. Well, Cam, we thank you for coming down. You can stay if you want to talk about separatist loadouts. Yeah, if you got a big opinion on a separatist loadout you want to share. Otherwise, if that does not interest you, I totally understand.
Yeah, if just to kind of give you context, the idea of this series that actually has gone on many more weeks than we expected because we actually had other things to talk about to fill in a lot of time. Is we've been going through each faction and just finding pilots that don't have a clear like, oh, this is the loadout you always bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's variation on it. There's things that you've seen people do successfully on multitude, whether it's 2 or more loadout variations on a particular pilot, or just like maybe no one's really found the one yet, and there's stuff that we should consider or think about. So, Separatist is our last faction, which is today.
Yeah. In that case, I'm probably gonna call it a night because I don't play Separatists that often, if ever.
Very fair.
That's fair. Well, congratulations again, Cam. Good luck in the XTC. Did you guys win your first week?
Yeah. We 5-0 swept Norway.
Okay,
Oof,
well,
which was
fair. You are the returning champions, so I'll reserve our smack talk until we get more wins. Yeah, we're the American approach to smack talk is being real conservative this year. We're gonna wait until we have more wins than a team, then we will start talking smack instead of before.
Oh, but that's the fun. The fun part is having smack talk before. Well, I'll tell you what, Will. We hope to see you in the finals this year, again.
Yeah.
But you have to beat both Spain and Poland, I believe, in your group. So good luck with that.
More like, no way they're getting in here.
Both teams, I believe, have never failed to make it out of groups. So hopefully you can end one of those streaks.
Oh, jeez.
No.
No pressure.
No, we're gonna go U.S. islands out of this group. Let me tell
Oh
you.
my god. Bold claim.
We're gonna be
Both
the
Spain.
true dream by getting the island both U.S. teams to get through. So
Oh wow! All right.
the gauntlet has been thrown down. This is why we're patiently waiting to spring our smack talk. Because
we're collecting them all up. We're writing them down. We're getting a playbook together for our Smack Talk.
Gotta write the procedure on Smack Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, we're gonna move on to Separatists again. I think you can. Great job.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up our Separatist squad builder, the old ESB. We'll leave Camo in there. Wait. Do we have a predictions episode? No, that's not what we're talking about. What would we predicting, Tano? But while we're figuring that out, James, Ryan, what do you want to talk about for Separatist loadouts?
Yeah, I'll let Ryan go first.
So I think it's probably worth bringing up a quick gander here and what is actually being at least somewhat successful in Separatists that isn't locked in. And I think it's a me, I think, unfortunately, because I'm tired of fire sprays being the answer in Separatist. But
Yeah.
I'm
also tired of fire sprays being the answer or the question or anything. Yeah.
But let's go to Zam. Arguably, I think once the points became the same and the loadout became the same between Zam and Django, I think Zam is currently the better ship. Just for the sheer fact it's much easier to get 2 attacks off with Zam around than it is with Django, and it forces your opponent to make tough decisions. Yes, Django's I6 is a little bit more evasive because he gets to choose to move after and react later with boosting and actions in general. But I think Zam is probably the first fire spray you go to. Excuse me, in Separatist. Just for bringing it, like, it's an 8-point ship. That's a lot, right? It's one more than Han right now. And if you're attacking only once, unless you have lined up a veteran tail gunner, which that's not crazy difficult, but it's a whole lot easier to satisfy Zam's triggers than it is setting up a VTG with Django. So you got 22 points for Zam. Obviously, one of the first things you look at is like, where force? I would like a force charge. I made a lot of points here. I would like some passive modifications. And I think that's where it starts to deviate first. You go 10 points for Savage, or do you go 12 points for Dooku, or 14 for Palpatine? But I think how things sort of end out, either Dooku or Savage. Let's start with the Dooku one first. That's probably the simpler line of options for Zam. You're left with 10 points after that, which is a solid amount. In all variations of Zam, I'm taking the Slave 1 title because free, and this is the only fire spray I'm building at this point. So you got 10 loadout available. If you are playing with another ship that could bring Notorious, like a Django, for example, you probably don't bring Notorious on Zam, because if you put Notorious on Zam, you're making it like super don't shoot me, like ever. So if you want to actually try and get people to shoot you by either triggering her ability or just having to make that more difficult decision, you don't actually want to take Notorious on Zam, but an easy, quick loadout for Zam as a baseline is Dooku, Contraband, and Notorious. But as I said, I think Notorious is, unless you are actively trying to get people to not shoot Zam, and you could use the card that says when stuff doesn't shoot you, you get to shoot them. Like that's another option you have available to for you is basically take the Notorious, which is already a good upgrade as it is, and tell people, okay, if you ever shoot me in general, it's probably a bad idea. But also, I'm counting on you not shooting me, so here's the card where I attack you when you don't shoot me. Which sometimes for Zam, that's even like more. That card of her condition could be more powerful because that's an end phase bonus attack, and uh, that's when like a lot of stuff may have already spent, not end phase, end of engagement phase, but that's when a lot of stuff has maybe spent their tokens defensively or offensively for the entire engagement phase. So
Yeah, they think they're
Zam,
safe.
yeah, Zam's bonus shot at the end of engagement could be even more dangerous than the you better mean business bonus shot, which is after your shot, basically. But if we're not going Notorious and we still have 10 points after Dooku, I still think it's probably Contraband. Fire Sprays do actually really want that, whether they bump focus and then want to do more moves next turn or have more moves available to them, or if they want K turn or Talon roll and still get actions that Contraband helpful. So you're left with 10 points for that Zam to figure out, okay, if I'm not taking Notorious, what could I take? Not a ton of gunners stand out. If you could go Boba Gunner, but that's like 2 points if I like left over if I want other stuff to take. Like this is where you look at stuff like bombs and a talent that might help a little bit. Like if you have Contraband, right, you're more willing to do red moves to get Zam's arc pointed back forward and pursuing. So elusive might not actually be bad on Zam, just kind of mitigate some of the incoming fire.
Elusive
And then just
seismic.
taking elusive seismic as an option. You could play the game of if we say seismic is the minimum bomb we want, right? So we have 4 points left. You could take trick shot. You could take even crack shot, right? It's not unreasonable to get bullseye with a medium base. You still have boost at I5. So, like, pick a 4-point talent that's probably not Debris Gambit. So, whether it's Trick, Elusive,
Yeah.
or Crack, and then put in Seismic Charges is very reasonable. Other than that, you want a Boba Gunner? Take Boba Gunner. Take a 4-point bomb and just slap marksmanship on there.
Yeah, actually, a couple options. Lone Wolf Ion Bombs. You could go Boba Gunner, Marksmanship, Concussion Bombs.
Yeah, you could just go Cluster Mines. I know it's not guaranteed damage, but
definitely cuts off a zone.
yeah, clusters can really turn some things around.
I mean, if you're shooting that rear arc and you didn't destroy the thing that you were shooting at range 1 in your rear arc, you could finish it off dropping some cluster mines on it the next round.
You could also take the tried and true proton bomb, and then instead of taking a 1-point talent and like you could do 1-point talent and delayed fuses, but you can also take the Boba Gunner proton bomb combo too.
That's true.
So we talk about Boba Gunner, but it as a note, if you're using Boba Fett Gunner, it says no other ships in the attack arc, which means you can't have your friendlies in there.
Yep. So. No, it's not an easy trigger, but hey, when it's there, it's a free mod, you know.
Yeah, it's a free focus to hit.
Can you get Lone Wolf? You can't bring a bomb though. If you bring Lone Wolf and Boba Fett.
No. Well, I mean, this is when do we need Dooku? Do we just need a force charge, right?
Yeah,
all the way back to the beginning and make it to Savage, right? Opening up more stuff. So if you start with Savage and Contraband, you can get better bombs and still have a decent talent and or Boba Gunner. You could have multitude of things. I think if you're just running Zam, I think you probably should be running Dooku Crew. But I'm not going to completely like poo-poo you bringing Savage because you do have 2 more points available to you to allow you to take a better bomb plus a talent, a bomb, a talent, and a Boba Gunner, right? All 3.
I think Dooku messes with the game so much that I think the 2 points is worth it if you
I
can
agree.
afford it.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Like calling blank on something that only has 1 health left.
oh yeah,
like
using
you
it to
you
modify their
start
dice.
by
Ugh.
choosing which of the 2 force crew you probably want realistically.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. Is like that should be illicit and crew should be your first choices, and then fill out the rest of them. I do like Dooku because it works for your friendlies as well. If they're like, I'm not attacking Zam, I'm going to shoot that rogue or whatever, and you're like, evade, you got this rogue. Just to help them out. So like that is like where the extra benefits. I guess Savage has limited use, but it's the ability to just like wait around for your Dooku.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like someone has fuel leak, just call crit.
No, it only works in modified dice steps now.
Only modified dice step.
This is Nuku, new crew coup.
Yeah.
And it only works on modified dice steps.
Yeah, so if they have an up showing fuel leak, you call crit.
Oh yeah, true. For the attack.
Oh, sure.
For the
I
attack.
thought you were talking like wounded pilot or something like that.
Oh, or a console fire. Gotcha.
Console
no,
fire.
no. Yeah, no.
Can't do that.
It should have always been during an attack.
It was really fun when it wasn't, but
You know, it was not really fun. It was the bombs.
yeah, the thermals. Calling crits when people hit a gas cloud, so they get the 3 ion tokens as well. That's really funny.
Yeah,
it was really funny. Now it's just kind of sad to look back at. Is there any other options, or should we just focus our efforts on what force crew you're taking?
I think Ryan hit it pretty good. If you're bringing an 8-point ship, you have to have some kind of passive mod that you don't have to do anything for. It's just there. It's always there. And none of the other crew really give you that.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe you can engineer like perceptive co-pilot with Notorious for like your double attacks, but I don't know. I don't know if that road's even worth exploring.
I think if you had like a coordinator, maybe you could go down that route of coordinating them a focus for perceptive, and then they could boost or lock if they need it.
Yeah, it's really the ability to boost, right? That should be your fire spray's main action is boost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or with Zam, if focus or lock.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to focus on your fire spray, so.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a couple options there.
I mean, I think the book is open, and depending on what you want and where you want your fire spray to be in the fight. What about you, James? You got a pilot we could take a look at?
Yeah, we just saw it in that breakdown. We could take a look at the synth infiltrator for Maul.
Oh, okay. Wow, you guys going the big ships out here. Maul with 19
well, I mean, it's just
loadout.
Just more fun, right?
No, I mean, look at this upgrade bar: force, cannon, torpedo, crew, payload, mod, title, tactical, relay.
I am super happy that they actually gave them the relay. So I was worried that he would not get one, just because he didn't really perform that role. But yeah, so obviously we're gonna start with hate and the scimitar title. I don't think that you can really get away without taking hate with Maul. Just as a basis, does anyone disagree with that?
He's
I don't think
four-starred
so.
all the time.
Synergizes with his ability so much.
Yeah,
he's spending 2 force every round just to fire a second time. So yeah, he's burning through it.
Yeah, honestly, I was looking at taking Malice as well. Like,
wow. Should I get some force back?
Yeah, can I have some force back, please?
Okay.
I don't know if you need both of them, but That is an option. We just
crits are good.
Man, crits are good. Just at a base level, crits are good. I don't really think there's any other force ability or force upgrade that you could look at. Maybe Shattering Shot, but I think with a front arc only large base ship, you don't want to be pointed at rocks that close.
No, probably not. So what other slots are you looking at? I mean, is it the relay? Is it the relay?
Well, I mean, I think that is a very good question. Is what are you bringing with the rest of your squad? So you could definitely look at something like what we saw with K2B4, which is very interesting. Something that we don't see too often is Kalani. That could actually be very interesting with Maul because that does work on him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kalani is after an enemy ship executes a maneuver. If it is in the bullseye of a friendly ship at range 0 to 3, you can spend one of their 3 triple recurring. I think the only triple recurring charges in the game. If you do, the friendly ship requires a lock, then takes a stress token. The only problem with this is that you can't get 3 locks off of one enemy ship. One enemy ship.
It's only one per opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think my biggest concern with Kalani and Sith Infiltrators is getting stressed.
Right.
You don't want to be stressed.
You don't want to be stressed, but it could be good if you, especially if you get stressed with an infiltrator. There's not a lot of good options. I mean, you have a pretty good blue dial with 1 bank, 2 bank, and 1 to 3 straights. But if you do get 1 stress already on there and you're having to make those turns, adding another stress on there is just for a free lock, essentially, right? Because it doesn't say if you're not stressed.
It doesn't say if you're not stressed. That is true.
So you could just keep stacking this, or if you take a panic, she's like, "Well, I don't take actions now. I just line up my bullseye."
I just hard to and pray.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could be interesting.
So
I don't mind the idea of free locks on my Duke or on my Darth Maul.
That. So because they don't have a lot of other good options for actions, they do have that jam given to them by the Scimitar title. So that is something very interesting to keep a lookout for. And of course, you got that focus. Or you could be doing that roll. So the only other really slots that you can take a look at are the crew, torpedo, and payload at that point. So looking at crew, we just talked about it. We could just take a look at taking some more force crew like Savage or Dooku. I don't think you can take 2. No, because you only have 19
loadout. No.
Yeah, so you can only take 1. So at that point, I would probably take Savage and see if what we can squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
Else out, because at that point we have 4 loadout left.
Force as well.
4 force, yeah.
Wow, impressive. Then that leaves you with hate, which, like you said, probably mandatory. Probably the best upgrade that Darth Maul can get. It lets him just keep doing the things he needs to do. But it only leaves you 4 points. Now we saw K2B4 on the squad. Is there anything else you would maybe pair in this combination?
You could take a look at ion torpedoes or a bomb. But
you got the Malice you mentioned earlier too.
The Malice, yep, of course. I don't think there's a cannon that you really want. So yeah, I'd probably say you could take a look at crew with Jango Fett, but with, like I said, with being a front arc only large base ship, it's gonna be real hard to trigger Jango Fett. Oh no, this is Jango Fett crew. Oh, I was thinking of Boba Fett gunner. So what is this one? Spend a lock to change an enemy ship.
Yeah, it's spend a lock to do Jango's pilot ability.
To Django's pilot ability. Okay, that's not great. Okay, never mind. So at that point, I would probably go ion torpedoes or malice, unless I'm running a bunch of other droids, in which case I'd go with K2.
Okay.
I'd like to throw out my favorite combo on Maul. It's only 2 upgrades outside of Scimitar. It's Hate, and it's Palpatine Crew.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I'm pretty sure Hate and Palpatine fit.
Hate and Palpatine is like, just for context, it's the only spot I think in this game that can take Hate and Palpatine right now. That is a just. It's actually a ridiculous combination. The only reason why it's potentially fair is because it exists on an infiltrator that's 7 points right now.
Right.
But that so Palpatine, you keep it on the Palpatine front-facing side, because after you defend, if the attacker is at range 0 to 2, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the attacker gains a stress. Just gains a stress. Not if you were not stressed. Not like only if you you get another stress if you had one or if you didn't have one, which allows Maul to then do the good 5k, the 2 sloop, or just let you float away somewhere else while he goes and shoots other things. It's giving out stress is really good in this game, and giving out more stress to ships that are already stressed, it just punishes you for shooting Maul, which is kind of a big thing, because otherwise, if you don't have something that punishes people for shooting Maul, they will just shoot Maul and eventually kill him within about 2 or 3 turns pretty easily with well-concentrated fire. With well-concentrated fire, he dies in like 2 turns.
Right.
As a note, Dooku customizable can also take it.
I think Dooku's got 24 loadout.
A lot of loadout.
Yeah,
but Dooku only has the 2 force points, though, if I'm not mistaken. Do they both?
He's got 3.
He has 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Maul can shoot twice and is I5.
So looks a little bit better.
I'm a much bigger fan of Maul for 7 points than I am Dooku for 7.
Yeah, so if you shoot Maul with the Chancellor Palpatine on board, you get double. You take a stress. Or if you're not shooting him and he's getting the hate back, right?
Right. You do 1 damage to him, and it's like a free Palpatine every turn. Do you guys know if you had to do this? Yeah, so you'd get the force back and then have to spend it with Palpatine. So you'd always be 1 force down each round, because you take
if you Palpatine, yeah.
Yeah, because you get the force back in the deal damage step, and then this would be in aftermath or whatever. It's after you.
So you can always Palpatine if you took a damage.
If you took a damage.
Yes.
So that is very interesting. So you have that Palpatine saying, if you shoot me, I'm getting force back and giving you a stress. Or if you don't shoot me, I'm going to double shoot you.
I think Maul's always going to be double shooting anyways. I mean, here's the question to you guys. Is there a time you would not just take the double shot? With
when
Maul?
I don't have the force to do it.
Yeah, there's situational circumstances, but nothing that's like glaring, I think.
Well, like imagine you took a focus for whatever reason you chose to, and then, or let's say you took a target lock, okay, and then you had to spend in this build all but 2 of your force and your target lock on the first attack, and it missed. Are you spending your other 2 force to do the bonus attack against that same target?
Did I burn a token?
You burned all your tokens.
No, did I burn their token?
No, they'd added 3.
Wow. Dice, Jesus.
It was a Black Squadron ace, and he just aced you.
So that I think is like 100% dependent on game state situation. Are you likely to get points off of shooting that target? Like, are you finishing them off for a kill?
Right. So
or are you
opening
just
engagement,
starting to put damage into them, type of thing.
Opening engagement, shots coming in on Maul, not gonna do it. Last round of the game, or Maul's like on a flank or something, and just free to do whatever. More likely. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Varying game state situations will change what you should and should not do.
that checks out.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a reason to take the torpedo though.
You're not just doing hate proton? That's not a thing you hate proton baffle?
You could. That actually doesn't. I do like the baffle there because these guys can get stressed so easily. And it actually does regenerate force.
Yeah. You're doing it just to regenerate force a little bit.
At that point, I would just go Dooku. Hate Dooku baffle.
But I want a 4 dice attack that reduces their defense. Interesting. Well, I know we used to see Perceptive Co-Pilot Darth Mauls flying around.
Yeah, because you don't want to spend your force on your focus results.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think
that
this would
is
be
true.
like a hateless version with Perceptive, and then I don't even know what else. You got so many options that aren't.
I mean, I think with 4/4s, you're definitely still better off taking a target lock on your initial target anyway, and see how it goes from there. At least you can mitigate the blanks.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, with the focus, it's if you did perceptive, I would look at doing Kalani then. That way you get the lock still.
Okay. Like
And
that.
then you could even go at that point. You have 3 points left. You could even go Django then, because now you're getting
I'm
free
trying not
locks.
to take hate. I'm trying to.
Oh, that's right.
Trying not to take. I took Bo-Katan Kryze for some rerolls, like you said. Need something to modify the blanks.
Yeah,
Then
and
we
then
got
you
2
still
more
have
points
2
for
the baffle.
Sure, because not
Because
gonna
Kalani
get
is
that.
going to stress you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the Goliath stresses you. Interesting.
This one's actually pretty interesting.
Perceptive Bo-Katan.
Kalani.
Yeah, Kalani. Like I said, there must
That's
be something to it. I just know people ran Perceptive Co-Pilot, but I think that was back when it was 200 points, and you were just trying to put one good upgrade on your scimitar.
Mm-hmm.
So make it Perceptive. Interesting. Well, I am not going to be sized out of here. We're going Pre-Vizsla, another large base. Pre-Vizsla is an initiative 3. It's got 14 loadout with the ability, while you perform an attack, if the defender's initiative is equal to or greater than yours, you may spend 2 charges to roll 1 additional dice, and you get that 2 charges once recurring. So every other round. Pre-Vizsla has talent, crew, gunner, payload, illicit, and the modification. And you know I'm reaching right for that contraband cybernetics. This is a gauntlet. They hate doing everything. They got red reinforce. They got red stop and rotate. Red coordinate. Everything's going to stress them here. So if you want to do those rotates and take actions, you got to take the contraband. But that leaves us with only 11 loadout. So if we do end up taking Savage, we only have 1 loadout. And this really, I guess we could take clan training, sure, if you're getting bold here with some target lock actions, I guess. And this really, I think, it would be a simple version. Just run around, reinforce if you need to. Otherwise, let the Savage do the work. But the question is, rather, are you trying to take veteran, tail, gunner to get the bonus attack on the gauntlet fighter? Where should my priorities lie? Force point, veteran, tail, gunner.
I go neither.
I go not veteran tail gunner, and also not force point either.
Oh,
Same.
really? What else would you put on there? That's not a force point.
I'll let James go first since you mentioned the same thing.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So what I've tried in the past, so we're all in agreement, right? Contraband stapled, correct?
Yeah. I think it's actually
Yes.
stapled to the card. Yeah, I don't think you can physically
Yeah,
separate the
they
two.
they literally they literally
Contraband
gave
cannot be removed from swivel wings ever.
Yeah.
they literally gave Imperial gauntlets illicit slots just because they're
Yeah.
like,
Take it.
please, please have these.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally necessary. I mean, you don't want to be taking those rounds off. Also, you're big and slow and dumb, so your stress could really mess you up.
Wow. Calling previously dumb for gauntlets.
Well, their dial. We'll call their dial and their base size suboptimal for maneuverability.
Yeah, I do wish that they're like they realistically only have a 2 hard because they're 3 hards red. They don't have a 1 hard.
Yeah.
Oddly, like even terrible at turning with unless they're doing the 0 as well. If you count that as your turn, 90 degrees, right? I just
Right.
wish this ship either had like a 3 turn and a 3 talon roll. Like
Amazing.
give me like a regular turn around, at least one of them, please. But so I3 can take a huge advantage of Notorious. I think that's one of the first things I went to was, all right, if you're gonna shoot me, yes, I'm 6 points and I'm a meaty target, but also now I'm gonna strain you and I'm gonna reroll and I'm gonna add another die to my attack. It's actually very scary. A lot of things will play around Pre-Vissal's arc just to not deal with that. Or your opponent's going to do they have to decide, like a gauntlet's one of those like racks, like decimator style ships where or VCX style ships, you have to decide really early on in the game, am I going to try to kill this thing? If you are, you're going to commit a lot of stuff to it, you're going to take a beating back from trying to kill it, but you're going to kill it, right? It's not hard to find it and go get it. But if you don't commit to it and you're just not, like, you just don't even bother, don't even try, which brings it to like the last sort of 4 points of it. I think I just dumped the last point because nothing else really fits well or matters, but I take Mando Optics, even though I don't use the last point, because it's a situation of, okay, if stuff doesn't try to look at me, well then I'm gonna make sure that if I get to look at them, I also get a target lock on them, can threaten them even if they don't shoot me. I think ships that can take Notorious or have abilities or things that basically punish you for shooting or looking at them, like Mando is a good example in Scum, where you want something to deal with when they don't look at you, which is Mando Optics. It's a good sort of solution for them. And I just thought of another one, but I'll let James go with what he was thinking, assuming it wasn't the same thing.
No. Had Contraband, of course. And I went Ursa, Rin, Gunner, and General Grievous crew with clan training.
You are not killing that gauntlet.
Give me that again.
Actually, a lot longer to kill.
What did you say?
Ursa, Rin, Gunner,
okay.
Grievous crew, and clan training.
Okay. Ursa Ren gets you a calculate when you lock a ship beyond range 3 if there are no friendly units at range 0 to 1 of the locked units. It always trips me up. Who's the friendly in that? Is it your friendlies or their friendlies?
Your friendly.
Yeah. Also, it's beyond range 2, not 3.
Oh, well. Yeah, hopefully you're not.
It'd actually be kind of neat with 3. Mando Optics, really. System phase, lock, get a calculate. Like, that's pretty neat, actually.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well. After you acquire a lock, you just get a calculate.
So, yeah. So turn 2 when you do that long range shot, and then system phase rolls around. And now you have focus lock, and you can roll up and reinforce. Could be interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But this also allows you get your Ursa Rin lock calc. You have clan training to give you a focus if you need it on that turn. And if you popped your cybernetics, you could even do that clan training focus after you do reinforce.
Interesting.
So you could even do like a stop, rotate, reinforce action, and then get a clan training focus.
Clan training focus, jeez.
So and Grievous is out there just like
with Grievous is after a friendly ship is destroyed, recover a charge. This previous is 6 points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the math checks out, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
To be putting
putting seven vultures.
7 vultures with it.
No, I'm putting 5 vultures and I'm putting a relay HMP that lets me use that calculate from Ursa Wren.
Oh, now that could be interesting. Some K2B4 action with that calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So looking at K2B4, or if I wanted to dig more into the lock, you could also go Kalani to give him more calculates.
We're not trying to stress there.
Probably do.
Yeah, I'm not trying. Yeah, but yeah, the K2B4 to give a little bit extra evade power to that.
So we have a gauntlet just existing that can reinforce.
Yeah.
That has 2 agility, that has a calculate on some turns, that can use K2B4, and has Grievous. I'm just not shooting that. I'm just going to kill everything else.
Yeah, but you're still going to have trouble killing all those other things if there are a lot more. I mean, you're not going to have trouble, but you know what I mean. There's going to be 4 more vultures and then a 3-point ship. So that could be like 404.
Sure.
So James, your mention did not actually allude to what I thought about just now that could be worth considering. We talked about fire sprays. Shooting twice is cool with veteran turret gunner, but it's even cooler we could shoot out the same mark. Would we just like throw contraband and Zam crew on previous?
When I was looking
at Zam, yeah.
Zam is basically like a force crew because you're getting like if you start without charges, so you're doing the acquire a lock one, right?
Right. That low initiative on previous actually really helps with that too, because you will hopefully get that target lock after any I4s or better shoot at you.
Yeah. So kind of like another type of notorious, but you have two conditions for Zam. If you think they're going to go after Previsla or not, you could choose which card you want. Also, it is worth noting Previsla's ability. While you perform an attack, if the defender's initiative is equal or greater than yours, you may spend 2 charges to roll 1 additional die. That's the same type of wording as Gideon Hask's Eye Shuttle. So you don't actually pool like that additional die into your initial roll. You roll your initial roll, you get to look at it, and then decide if you want to roll an additional die.
What? Are you sure about that?
Gideon Hask is the same thing.
Yeah, but are you sure that's how Gideon works?
It is actually.
That's how Gideon works, yes.
While you or a friendly small ship at range 0 2 performs a primary attack against the damaged defender, if the attacker rolled 2 or fewer dice, they have to. Well, I guess that's the only other part. That sentence we don't have in Previsla.
No, so I don't think it's the same. I will agree with that Gideon has. You have to roll the 2 dice, and then you get to decide the string, because you have to do the roll step to see if you rolled 2 or less.
Yeah.
So no, you do have to roll the Previsla with it together. Yeah, you had me thinking there, but no. Gideon says rolled a specific amount, which means
you do need to actually have rolled that
post the roll step.
Ignore me on that one. It just said like beyond the roll wording of Gideon has the while perform attack and the same like do thing to roll an additional die had similar structure.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still very good though. Like getting that 3rd or 4th dice out of the rear arc actually making it something useful and not just like a piddly 2-dice attack is interesting. I like the Zam idea as well, because Zam just gets better the longer the game goes. Where, like, at first you're like, sure, we'll shoot at it. It's my only shot. We'll shoot at pre-Vizsla. I can't double shot me, right? But then once Zam gets those 2 charges, then just you can't shoot at pre-Vizsla. You can't even look at the thing. Because you might end up with a 5-dice range 1 attack coming back at you. So I do like that. It's a commitment. But Zam, remember when Zam was 4 points? Man, what a world we lived in.
Man, I would have had like, if Zam was 4 points right now, I would have had like Ursa Ren Gunner, man, and then like more upgrades in general on pre-Vizsla.
Yeah, we'd get a lot of stuff in there. Can you, man, you can't do drop seat bay anymore, can you? Now with the Mandos. Oh, you can. You can get the
Very
Death Watch out
though.
there. You can Clan Rain Death Watch.
Drop seat bay 5 points.
Yeah, they kind of don't want you to play the Commandos, which is sad because they're, I think, one of the most interesting things to happen in Xwing, like mechanically, right? In a long time.
If it wasn't for all the extra board movement and weird stuff to actually move them around the board, because it's just like the nightmare of having to move those commandos underneath opposing ships is just. It's the worst if there's more than one ship you're trying to like fly through or
trying to hard one those commandos through like
it's,
2 small bases. Yeah.
And then God forbid you like hard one under a large base where there's no end of your Mando token sticking out of any side of it. You just gotta hope it stays in place underneath a medium large base ship.
Yeah. As cool as they are, they're just not like helpful to the game. So put them got them. Honestly, it's the drop seat bay. Like dropping them out the back and then they 2 forward underneath of you in some goofy way is one thing, but dropping them out the side though is powerful. But I would not recommend that loadout for them. If you want to have fun, yes. If you want to shoot well, not recommended. Well, unless our chat is talking up a ship we didn't cover. Actually, well, there's a non-linked reference to Bo-Katan. What is actually the loadout difference? Bo-Katan's got the exact same loadout, but she gets the Gauntlet title.
Yeah.
Or no, she's got 2 less loadout as well. In Separatist, you can remove their token. You can remove your own non-stress or orange token, which I don't even know what that would be. I think the last time I did this, I removed an Ion token off of my Django. But that was not a good build. She could do the Death Watch commandos though, and still take Ursa Ren. Wow, look at that. All right, really. Let's be real here. Contraband Cybernetics. There you go. Flame training. Well, Bo-Katan solved. But all right. Look at that cam. What belts is he holding up there? It's the Cam Murray champion. So.
Yeah, it's a Galactic Championship belt.
That's true. Well, exciting stuff. I'm going to be interested in watching our streamed games from over the weekend. Hopefully everybody was able to check in on DM, making sure all those French fries and poutine didn't upset him too much. exciting stuff there. As we look forward to our next events, we do not think we have much going on in November. I know in December I'm going to be trying to stream the XTC final, but I think that's the first weekend of December, TBD on that. Then afterwards, it's LVO in January. Me and James are heading up to Las Vegas. So exciting stuff.
Gonna be a good time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to practice counting to 21. You know what I mean? Gotta practice our counting to 21. Xwing we count to 20. In Vegas, we count to 21.
Yeah, I'm trying to count to 20. If I can get to 20,
Well,
that'd
it's
be good.
probably a smart decision. Otherwise, check out the Discord. I'm going to put the Discord thing in there. If you're just watching, you're like, how the heck do these people communicate about Xwing? It's the Discord. If you want to support us beyond Twitch and the podcast itself, got to check out that Patreon, patreon.com/Gold Squadron. Otherwise, we'll be here every Monday on Twitch and Wednesday. Join me and James for some Flight Club games. Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we have an XCC game this Wednesday.
That's true. Team USA's very own Steven going against the... I don't know his opponent's name now off the top of my head now, but...
What's the team?
What's the team? Now you're putting pressure on me. That I have to... I was going to say... I think... is it Poland this week? No, now you're making me forget. What we're facing off against? For some reason, my brain's going blank here. We just did parents. Group 2, we face off. Round 2, we should be facing off against... Oh, that's right, the islands.
Oh, is it
That's
Islands
right.
week?
That's why I couldn't think. I was like, U.S. versus U.S. or something. We're facing off against the islands this week. So, some real brotherly rivalry going on in the XTC for us. I wish we could both win, but you know, we'll shoot for the draw, I guess. A little bit more difficult in XTC, where we have an odd number of games rather than the draft league, which for some reason has 6 games. So like there's like 2 draws every week. Crazy stuff. The survey, yes, I gotta remember to put that in the YouTube. Make a little note for myself. Perfect. All right. Well, fantastic. Thanks again for Cam for coming on, joining us, talking about the St. Lawrence event. Till next time, stay safe, stay smart. Gold Squadron out.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold Squadron out.